Hey everyone, today we're going to look at Schoology tests and quizzes, how to create them, administer them, score them, add the questions to question banks, and then share them among your colleagues. We'll also talk about some of the different uses for Schoology tests and quizzes. So here's my course. I'm just using one of my prep time sections here, and I already have one test or quiz already created, but I want to walk you through the creation of them so you know what to do. You want to go up to the Add Materials button. Go down to the green puzzle piece that says Add Test or Quiz. You need to give it a name. A due date. Set the number of points. And assign it a grading category. You can create your own, or you can also leave it ungraded. You can change the grading scale from numeric to letter grades. And the different options include individually assigning it to some students, publishing it or unpublished, enabling or disabling statistics, comments, and copying the test or quiz once it's been created and finalized. Once you create it, this is the test and quiz creation screen. It defaults to the questions tab. There's also the settings tab, preview, results, and comments. The different types of questions include true and false, multiple choice, ordering, short answer and essay, fill in the blank, and matching. Let's take a look at the settings screen. If you want to give global directions for the assessment, you can type that right in here in the instructions box. Submissions box right here is very important. Submissions are automatically disabled once you create an assessment. You must change it to enabled before students can take the assessment. Enable will just leave it open from now until you close it. Enable until will let you set an opening time, and enable from and until will let you set a window of time for students to take the assessment. You can change the attempt limit from unlimited to 1 up through 20. You can randomize the order of the questions. You can use page breaks so that students only see one question per page, and this is pretty useful on longer assessments so they don't get overwhelmed. Change the language of the keyboard to Spanish. Allow students to review questions before they submit. Allow students to resume an assessment that they don't finish. And allow them to review their submissions to see their score. You can click yes or yes with correct answers, or leave it no until you get a chance to grade it. There are also some printing options down below if you have students who need a printed copy. The Preview tab allows you to walk through an assessment once you create some questions. After students have taken the assessment, the results screen will populate with their scores. Now, right now, as nobody has taken my score or nobody's taken my test or quiz, it just defaults back to questions. And comments too, if you enable comments, this will allow you to see any comments made on the quiz or test. So let's go back to the one I've already made right here, and I'll walk you through what some of the different questions look like. So I've got one of each type of question here: true and false, multiple choice, ordering, short answer and essay, fill in the blank, and matching. These questions have already been created, but I can go over here to the gear icon and change and edit them at any time. So when you create a true and false statement, you write your statement in the box, and it defaults to true and false, but you can change these labels if you want to have custom labels instead of true and false. You can have it correct as true or false, and you can also require the students to correct if it is a false question. Now, if you do that, it will ask you to type in what your correction is. And if you do that, I would suggest you indicate that this is a subjective question, because it's going to be difficult to score if they make typos or it doesn't match exactly what you entered in there. And then you set the number of points for your true and false question. Usually I just do 1 point per question, but for some of the ones like ordering, you may want to set that for multiple points. All right, so let's go back. And multiple choice. Pretty straightforward. You type your question in the box, and then you've got options. It defaults to 4, but you can add more blanks or remove more blanks so that you can have fewer or less choices. You must click at least one checkbox to indicate a correct answer. And so you can do more than one, so the multiple choice questions can operate as checkbox questions as well. If you click here, this will randomize the choices for each user. This will allow partial credit if you have more than one correct answer. And then you can set a timed question if you wanted to limit them to a shorter period of time for each question. Ordering questions. You want to put in your directions here, and then you simply put your items in order, and you can add or reduce the number of choices again. And you can also allow partial credit if they get some of the steps in the correct sequence. When you click on this box, you have to set the minimum continuous sequence in order for them to receive partial credit. Next is a short answer essay question, which is pretty straightforward. You just put your question in the box here, and then you can set a character limit if you choose, allow rich text, allow video or audio answers, and set a timer if you wish. The space allocated will depend on when you're printing whether you indicate short answer or essay question. You can also add a rubric so that students can see exactly how they're going to be scored. Now, it should be pretty obvious, but this will have to be scored by hand. Schoology will not automatically score the essay questions for you. Next is fill in the blank. To create a fill in the blank question, you just use the underscore as your blank, and then you can put the answer down below. If you add more blanks, you'll see it's thinking here, and now I need to put in an answer for blank 2. So every underscore can serve as a blank. So you can have multiple blanks for your fill in the blank question. And you can also put in a word bank here with some filler words. So I have my correct answer here and my filler words down below. And matching. Your directions are in the box. You put your terms or questions on the left and the answers on the right. You can also add filler words. So like, let's say I wanted to have maybe 2 distractors in here as my answers. I could put in 2 filler words, and then that would give the student 6 options instead of the 4 when they're doing the matching. Again, you can allow partial credit, make it subjective so that you score it by hand, and set a timer and a number of points. So for something like this, since I have 4 terms and 4 matches, I might want to make this worth 4 points. That's up to you. So that's the basic steps for creating a test or quiz in Schoology.